Hello lovely people. Today I'm replacing basically all my front stage because why not? So if you saw my previous video when I did some distortion measurements between SB Acoustics and Peerless drivers. So I'm gonna replacing them just to see, because why not? So I started with the mids. I have one mid over there replaced already. So it is a very tight squeeze. And what I did is I removed this one and basically I did this ring, which is just for testing purposes. So there's nothing permanent and nothing very pretty. So this ring goes in there and just like that. I just need to squeeze it in. And then inside, I'm gonna put this Peerless driver, just like that. Yeah. And it's gonna go in. It's gonna be a tight squeeze, but it's gonna go in. I have at the moment for this only 2 fixing points for the whole baffle, but it's fine. So let me show you on the other side, because the other side is already done. So it's something like that. So one bolt here and the other one is just there. So 2 fixing bolts for now, regular wood screws, because again it's just for testing purposes, because I want to see the frequency response, and I might be tuning it. If I like it, then I'm gonna do something permanent. Maybe because I have a spare dash, maybe I'm gonna do another dash, because why not? Maybe angle them, I don't know, we'll see. I will be replacing as well the tweeters and the mid bass. So I did, for this I have fly leads with XT60 connectors. I made exactly the same fly lead for the Peerless driver, and all my connections are there in the kick. So I'm just gonna be like this. So the install that I did, I'm very kind of happy about it, because it's extremely easy to replace stuff. It's bad access to the last bolts, but it's possible to do it. So just remove the driver, put the new one in, connect the XD connectors, and it's fine. Tweeter has the connector as well, mid bass as well. So mid bass as well is going to be very easy. Only 4 bolts, 1 2 3 4. I'm going to remove this one, make something similar, just bigger, because the Peerless driver is a bit bigger. Make something similar, put it in, and it's going to be replaced. Yeah, so one mid-range done. I'm going to do the second mid-range, then I'm going to go into the mid-bass. Tweeters, since I have them on like these gimbals, I had to remove the pillar because I needed some access. It's extremely easy to replace as well. I'm going to put them in like temporarily, and then we'll see. So yeah, next cut is gonna be when I'm gonna do the ring for the mid bass, because the mid range is kind of done. So just to show you how it looks like, have these clips at the very end. There's the XT connector that goes there, regular screws. So I had to cut them so they wouldn't go deeper than the plywood gasket. The other gasket is on the driver himself, and it's something like actually I need to put this, yeah, but I'm gonna put the wire first and just bolt it with 2 bolts for now, and it's gonna be like this. And this is the ring that I made for the mid bass, so it does fit in there, just a bit tight. Yeah, I won't be able to hold it just like that, so I need to drill some holes, 4 holes, because these are tapped. So I need 4 holes for this, and then this goes just like that. I did made, I don't know if you will be able to see, a slight chamfer on the inside, because it's extremely tight. This surround is slightly, cone slightly bigger than the SB Acoustics, so I did it a little bit chamfer, so when it goes like that, it's not gonna touch anything. Very tight clearances, but I'll just need to drill some holes there with yeah, and just put it in. So that's the mid bass. That side is gonna be a tiny bit more difficult because there's less clearance, but I'm gonna manage it. And this is just a demonstration of the adapter ring for the mid bass. So these kind of flush mounted, these are for fixing, so they're flush. They're fixing the ring into the metal part. There's a gasket, yeah, just like that. And then I'm gonna fix with the wood screws the mid bass to this ply. Again, it's not pretty. There is space like for the surround. Focus, 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 focus. Just like that. There is space for the surround to move, so it's fine. Yeah, it's just because it's a different bolt pattern. That's the only thing. And again, it doesn't have to be pretty. It's just for testing purposes for now. Later on, if I will decide to redo it properly, it's gonna be done properly. But now it's fine. So gasket, gasket, bolt, 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 bolt. And then I'm just gonna make some fly leads for this one. And that's one, the other one for the other side. And I just ran out of gasket. So what I'm using is CCF. It's kind of thick, but again, for testing purposes, just cut it in small strips and just run it all the way around. Cool, let me install this. And here how it looks like installed. So I have these pigtails, whatever. So that's the mid bass. That's my main power running. And yeah, all solid, all good. So on this side, it's perfect. But on the other side, I have much less clearance. But I'm gonna manage. If you're wondering why I have this upside down, is because I want the connections being on top, so that when a passenger is sitting, you won't be able to kick it by accident, you know. So yeah, one side is done. Now I'm gonna do the other side. Fast forward 6 hours. It's already night outside, so I'm filming with the flash on the camera. Apologies. So mid range is done. 1, 2. Mid bass is done. 1, 2. I didn't put the side skirt yet, and I did the tweeters as well. I made like a special metal mounting. Maybe this one is gonna be able to see something. Yeah, just just temporary to fix it. So I put the tweeters on axis. I have my laptop with me. I'm not gonna tune today because it's gonna take too long, and it's already like 10 o'clock in the evening. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna take raw measurements of all of these 6 drivers, and then I'm gonna compare them to the ones that I had before. And I think this is gonna be fun. Before we start comparing the measurements, I'm just gonna remind some of the probably new viewers what I had and what I have now. So I had an old school, old ScanSpeak tweeters and replaced them with SB Acoustics SB29. I had, for mids, I had SB Acoustics Satori 5-inch mid, and I put a Peerless 4-inch. For mid bass, I had this one, SB17 SB Acoustics, and I replaced it with Peerless as well. And front central console subwoofer, I had a ScanSpeak woofer, and now I have a Dayton subwoofer, and the rear subwoofer is the same. So basically now all the drivers are changed apart from the rear subwoofer. So let's have a look. I'm gonna be comparing one by one because there's not really point comparing in pairs. So left tweeter, ScanSpeak, and SB Acoustics. So both of them are crossed at 1K. I'm gonna just apply some smoothing, 1/6, just for the tweeters. And as we can see, it's identical. It's exactly the same. I'm not gaining anything. I'm not losing anything. So this one, it was interesting. The 8K dip. I thought it may be the tweeter, it might be the driver, but apparently it's the location. And somebody mentioned somewhere in the comments that it can be like reflection from a dash, maybe. So now I know that this is location related. But in general, the frequency response is identical. I want to say exactly the same. If I'm gonna go a bit higher, you can see like here maybe a bit more SB Acoustics plays, but I can say same, identical. So that's left one, right tweeter, scan speak, and SB Acoustics. Again, 1/6. Almost identical, a bit of a difference here, and maybe because of, I don't know, aiming or something. And again, same dip at 8.2K. And again, this is location related. And the difference that I see is B plays a bit more, like above 15K. So this is like 4 dB more. Maybe it's a bit more on axis, I'm not sure, or maybe it just plays a bit high as well. But 8K dip, it's location related, but this is extremely this similar. Let's have a look at the mid-range. Left mid-range SB Acoustics 5-inch and 4-inch Peerless. And again, identical. A big peak here, a dip, peak, and the roll off is almost the same. So both of them were measured with no crossovers. So the SB, it plays a bit lower. It's a bigger driver with lower FS, so it plays a bit lower, but very similar. This 4-inch Peerless, it can easily be crossed 150, 200 with no problems at all. And what I see at 5K dip, this dip like 1.5K. I'm not sure why it's there, but on the Peerless is a bit smaller dip. It's not as pronounced. With SB Acoustics, it was much deeper. And here on the very top, it doesn't really matter because they already crossed. I'm gonna cross them like maybe a 3K, 2.5K, maybe even 2K, because the tweeters play very low, very nice. So yeah, very similar. Let's have a look at the right mid. So right one is the driver's side on my side. Again, extremely similar. A bit differences here. Same dip. So this one, I thought that this dip is related to the SB Acoustics driver itself, because everybody says it has some issues at like one after 1K. But now, since I'm seeing this on the other driver as well, on the Peerless, in exactly the same position, I think it's location related. And since I'm seeing this on both drivers, so yeah, both Peerless. So one is a bit higher, like 1.6K. The other one is, but this is like a cancellation. It might be because of the distance to the glass. Maybe just one cancellation. Not sure. And again, SB Acoustics plays a bit lower, but I don't need it because it's going to be crossed like a 200. So very similar response. Now let's have a look at the left mid bass, SB Acoustics and Peerless. So we're gonna zoom in on the bottom end now. And as we can see, both of them are playing almost identical. I wanna say extremely close. Peerless has a bit more level like here between 250 and 400. This dip is not as deep. It's like maybe 4 dB higher, but everything else is extremely similar. Yeah, so that's good since it has a bit more level there. So left, let's have a look at the right mid bass. Right mid bass. So left and right is very different because left one is deep in the kick, in the footwell, and the right one is more like on the side sill. So it's a bit different. So SB Acoustics play higher, and Peerless kind of rolls off. Let's just go a bit down. Yeah. and rolls off. This is no crossovers applied at all. It might be because there's no side skirt. I'm not sure. But yeah, SB has a bit more low end. But again, very, very similar. If I would raise it, it would be almost the same. It's just the top end, which doesn't matter for me because I'm crossing them like 250 here somewhere. So for me matters this area, which is fine. Okay. And the last one is going to be the center console subwoofer. So this is a ScanSpeak woofer that I had, and this is the Dayton sub. And yeah, everything below like 75, I have much, much more level, down to like 15 hertz. So this is very, very good for me. I'll have more options integrating this into the rear sub, because my rear sub, as you can see, kind of drops off after 50 down. So it's going to be easier to integrate it. The front subwoofer won't have to struggle that much. I have a lot of level there. And the top, well, 150, and then it goes down. So conclusions out of all of this. I was expecting that there's going to be a bigger difference, but it's not a big difference at all. It's extremely, extremely small difference, more to do with the roll off. So like the smaller mids roll off a bit earlier, and the top end is slightly different, but the response is extremely, extremely the same. And that just proves that in the car, everything is location related. So here you have 4 drivers and in the same location. So location related, location, everything in car is down to location and not down to the drivers, because these drivers are quite different. If you saw watch the previous video where I did the distortion measurements and I went through some of the TS parameters. So these drivers are different, but the response is almost identical. So yeah, fun experiment. Next, as you guessed, probably is going to be a new tuning session, because all the drivers are new. The car needs a new tune, and I need to practice as well. So yeah, that's going to be fun. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but that's in the plans. Cool. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, by the way, don't rush replacing your drivers expecting magic, because as you can see, almost everything is location related. If you want magic, change the locations of your drivers. Don't expect magic just by replacing the drivers. Like if you want more mid bass, you're not gonna get more mid bass just by replacing the driver. You need either treatment, either change your location, or like with any other driver. Yeah, so don't swap out drivers just for fun, like me. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.